Romans 6:16. Don't you realize that you become the slave of whatever you choose to obey? You can be a slave to sin, which leads to death, or you can choose to obey God, which leads to righteous living. Now, I want you to think about this verse and think why I decided to choose Romans 6:16. Now, if you're thinking that I chose this verse because you become a slave of whatever you choose to obey, then you are correct. That is the main reason why I decided to choose this verse. We see people obeying sinful nature all the time. And us Christians, we don't want to obey sin. But we end up doing sin, and when we end up obeying sin. This also proves that humans are not perfect, and that is okay. But there is no excuse. There is no excuse for anyone that when we sin, we have to be miserable, we have to be sad, we have to run and hide. If we do that, that'll just make us worse. But if you decide to go to God, repent your sin, then that sin, the weight, it gets taken off our shoulders. We feel light. Now, with that in mind, I want you to repeat after me. God, I repent my sin today. I lay everything down to you. I give it all to you, Lord. I will follow you, Lord. Do what you ask. I will obey you, Lord. The main reason why I wanted you to say that is because I want God to be able to hear your voice. And since you said that, you allow him in your heart. You're giving him control over your life. The main reason why I love being a Christian is God is able to talk to you and we can hear him. But in this generation, people don't go to God. That is a problem because it gives the devil an opportunity to attack non-believers and control them. And when the devil controls us, he gives us sinful thoughts, sinful ideas. But if we rebuke those ideas and thoughts, and we let God take control of our life, everything will be much different. Our life will feel like a blessing. And that concludes for today's lesson. Even if this video is over, I just want you to think about Romans 6:16. If you need a reminder of what the verse says, I can say it again. Don't you realize that you become the slave of whatever you choose to obey? You can be a slave to sin, which leads to death, or you can choose to obey God, which leads righteous to living. So before this video ends, I just have a question for you. How will you apply this verse in your daily life? That is all I have to say. Thank you for watching our very first podcast.